Hey guys, Yankee here, and today I want to be talking about the bits of news that I'm interested in from Digimon Con. Today is Sunday, March 10th, so Digimon Con was last night for me. Um, and as sort of expected, there wasn't a whole lot of big announcements, but there were a couple of interesting ones here and there. Especially if you like to read, Digimon fans that like reading really came out on top this year. So let's get to the news that I'm sort of titling this whole video on. We got Digimon Liberator news, but the most interesting thing is they announced like a companion novel to go with the webcomic they had announced previously. So this is, I guess, sort of like a Seeker's replacement, which I think is kind of neat. How, right? We always have, like, for the last year now, we've had a novel that is just ending, and so now we have another novel to replace that. And sort of the same thing's happening with manga and comics too, but I'll talk more about that in a minute. So we didn't get a whole lot of info about the new Digimon Liberator novel. We don't know if it has like a separate name or like a subtitle, or if it's just also called Digimon Liberator. We know that it has a different protagonist named Yuki, and her Digimon partner is Impmon, and that's basically it. So it's basically just speculation about what could be different. During the segment, they made mention of, oh, the comic and the novel are kind of separate, but who knows? Maybe they'll come together at some point, which could be cool. Impmon as a leading partner in a thing is a great idea. He's a popular Digimon. He's a cool little Digimon. And I was thinking about this after they announced it. He doesn't really get a lot of major roles outside of Tamers, right? Like, Beelzemon always shows up in things because they use the Demon Lords all the time. But Impmon himself doesn't. And it'll be interesting to see sort of what they do for an evolution line with him, because in Tamers, he didn't really evolve to Champion and Ultimate. He just went from Impmon to Beelzemon. And so, who knows what they're going to do with that? Who knows if they'll even do Beelzemon? Maybe they'll do Beelstarmon. There's interesting things they can do with this, and I like the idea of Digimon Liberator being, we've got the comic, we've got the novel, and maybe they'll touch on each other here and there. So, Digimon Liberator novel, cool new announcement. Next, Digimon Liberator, the comic news. Basically, didn't really show. They showed like a preview for it, and it seemed neat. It's a vertical scrolling, like webtoon kind of comic, in color. So that's cool. It's a little bit different. But the thing that I really want to talk about from Liberator is the new Digimon announced, because they just showed off a bunch of them. Because I assume, unlike a regular Digimon thing where slowly they unlock evolutions, because this is based on the card game, they're just going to have them basically right off the bat. Plus, the decks are coming out like the day after the comic and stuff starts, so they just revealed them all here. So I'm going to go through each of the new Digimon revealed sort of one by one and talk about them. First up, Yolkmon. I think this is my favorite of the bunch. It's a really simple baby design. It can be used for all kinds of things. It's got like a little hint of Terramon and his evolution here on the top of the shell with like the little green swirls, but for the most part it's just sort of its own thing, can be used for a lot of different Digimon easily. I think sometimes baby Digimon look too much like the rookie they evolve into these days, and so this is a baby that's pretty universal and you can use them for all kinds of things. It doesn't even have to be for like bird Digimon, right? Yolkmon, really cool. What do we got? Fluffymon. Fluffymon's another one that it suffers the problem I just talked about, where it looks so much like the rookie it evolves into. But I do think it's a pretty good design. I think you could use this for like Falcomon and maybe some other bird Digimon too. But he's okay. Yolkmon, I think, is better. But Fluffymon's cute. His eye placement is a little unfortunate. Not for like the design's sake, but like, my God, he's like all beak, so like the inside of his eyeballs are like in his mouth, which is kind of gross if you think about it. Next up, we have the ultimate for Terramon. I don't remember what the name of his champion was, but this guy, Grand Galemon, he's cool. I like it a lot. Sort of not Birdramon, Garudamon-esque, but also kind of like he reminds me of Examon X Antibody, where he's just sort of standing up. He's got his weapon, he's got his like armor and wings, and I think he's really cool. And I think I like this design a lot more than the Mega. And the Mega is what is this? Zephagamon? I don't like this at all. Digimon Knights for me are kind of hit or miss. There's some that are really cool. There's some that I don't care for, and this is one that I really don't care for at all. Just like, I don't know, the like arms in between like the shoulder and like the forearm here, like where it just looks like a cable or something. Like, I don't know. I don't like this design at all. The wings don't look very good to me. Just not a fan. So, for Shushumon now, we have her ultimate Chaperomon, which is like a Little Red Riding Hood Digimon, Big Bad Wolf shoes. I think this design's really cool. The stitches down the face to show that it's like a doll, like the weird doll hands. The creepy picnic basket. There's a lot going on in this design, but I like it a lot. I think this is my favorite out of all Shumon's evolution line. It's just like a really cool doll Digimon with like a knife on its back and a Molotov in its hand, and it's just fun. And it's kind of like when you think of like what is the epitome of a Digimon design, like what people think a Digimon design is, it's like, all right, we've got stitches all over it, we've got weird teeth everywhere, we've got belts, we've got weapons. It's cool. I like this a lot. And now for the Mega Cendrillmon, a Digimon based on Cinderella. Her actual design itself, I'm not a huge fan of. I especially don't like the little pointy legs that we get sometimes. Like, Jessamon also has them. I don't like the pointed feet like that. But there's some cool stuff here. Like, I especially like they took the glass slipper thing and like just applied it everywhere. So like in her chest we've got like the glass here, and you can like see flowers behind it. Same with her face. I think that looks really neat. The legs I don't think look very good. The little army of mouse guys, I don't remember his name, but they kind of look like the ones from Cross Wars, the one that was on Damemon. And then the little bird thing too, I think that's cool. Like the Disney fairy tale princess with all her animal companions, I think that's neat. Overall, design's not my favorite. It's kind of a generic person, but like the little touches here and there, like again, the glass in her chest and her face, I think look cool. But yeah, she's okay. So that's it for the new Digimon. Some cool ones, some that I'm not a big fan of, but overall I think pretty good showing for these new Digimon. I think they've been done a really good job these last few years of what the new Digimon look like. So even when there's some designs here and there that I'm not a fan of, overall I'm still very happy. So next up, they announced, and this is probably like the actual biggest announcement, but they didn't have much detail, so it's not really something I can get super excited about other than just the general idea, and that is Digimon Comics. We don't know much about it, just that this summer they're going to start posting manga online, which I think is a great idea. Digimon manga for me has been like, Bandai has failed to utilize manga to really promote Digimon, in my opinion. Right? We had V-Tamer, which was cool. Then we had Next, which was also enjoyable. But outside of that, it's just been anime adaptations. So like Cross Wars, and then there was a Appmon manga, and I think there was even like a redigitized manga. They haven't really used it to its fullest extent, in my opinion. So having just like a bunch of manga released on their website seems like a cool idea to me. We know that Tenya Yabuno is going to be doing a manga for it, which is probably going to be a Dreamers follow-up, because Digimon Dreamers just ended, and it had like, at the end it's like end of part 1, so there's going to be a part 2, and I assume that's what's coming. But yeah, Digimon Comics, I'm actually kind of excited for that. Just like a bunch of manga coming out regularly featuring Digimon, cool, sign me up. if there's good stuff, that's great. If there's some bad stuff, that's also fine, because if they keep if they put out enough, like, people will be able to pick and choose. And the last sort of news that they announced, which I'll just talk about briefly because I don't really have much to say about it, Digimon novel competition. They did the manga competition a couple years ago. They've done like a couple of card art competitions, and now they're doing a novel writing competition. It's for Japan only, so it doesn't matter to me. But that's, like, it's neat. I like how they're going around and being like, alright, there's a lot of Digimon fans, let them submit things, we'll pick some good ones, and then we'll, like, give them a manga or give them a novel, like the manga competition winners from a couple years ago. I think it was just last year, right? Those were neat, just looking at all those little one-shots. So I'm interested in this, but overall, the news itself isn't that relevant to me. But yeah, that's the news that I wanted to talk about coming out of Digimon Con. Overall, I thought this year's show was okay. No games, no anime. I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed with that. I didn't really have expectations for a new game or a new anime to get announced here. It would have been nice, but it's fine. I think the thing to take away from this, though, is despite us being sort of like in a drought of Digimon content, we're getting way more than we did in the past, right? Between like Cross Wars and Digimon Tri, what did we get? There was a couple of games that didn't even come out over here in English. But now, like, Ghost Game ended a year ago, and what have we had? We had all of Digimon Seekers, and now we're going straight into Liberator, which is now not just a comic, but also a novel. And then in the summer, we're going to have a bunch of manga starting that they're going to be releasing. So I think if you only care about the anime or you only care about the games, I think you're not going to have a very good time with Digimon these days. But if you're somebody that can enjoy Digimon in a bunch of different media, like if you like manga and novels and anime and games, you've still got something, right? And I think that's important, where anime and games take a lot of time and take a lot of money. And so to sort of fill in the gaps between, we've got things that don't take as many people to make and don't cost as much to fund, like a manga or a novel. So I think that's really cool, and I think it took them long enough to figure that out, right? Like, we could have had a bunch of Digimon manga over the years if they had just put it out somewhere. But yeah, like, we're lacking sort of like the big content a lot of people want, but if you're willing to dip your toe into something else, like manga, novels, I think you're in for a good time. So yeah, that's Digimon Con 2024. About what I expected. A couple surprise announcements here and there that are interesting to me, but I don't think are going to have super wide appeal. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.